Hi, everyone. This is Marnie with Can Uke Retreats, and I am thrilled to be here today with Sally Carter, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome, Sally.
Thank you, Marnie. Hi, everyone. And I'm so excited to come to your beautiful country, your beautiful state of Colorado, and be part of this beautiful Ute retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to introduce you to the state of Colorado. We are going to be at the Shadow Cliff Mountain Lodge in Grand Lake, Colorado. It is on the western side of Rocky Mountain National Park, and an absolutely stunning little town that boasts the largest natural lake in our state, which is we don't have that many, which is kind of surprising. And we're going to be perched up on this hill from July. Well, goodness, I should look at the dates so I make sure I have those correct. July 28th, which is a Monday, through August 2nd, is when we are going to be there. And we are just the weather is beautiful. It's nice and cool. We are at high altitude, and it's just the most perfect place to retreat in. So I'm excited to have you join us and to take you to see all the things that Colorado has to offer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And look, I've never been to Colorado before, but that just even just to be going there, even just to go to the venue, and on top of that, there's all this ukulele fun that we're going to be having as well. To me, that's just wow.
Yeah.
It's
Now, Sally,
yeah.
have you done anything that's kind of like this, like 6 days, 5 nights, an ukulele and voice retreat where you can just let all the trappings of everyday go and sit in this this learning space and grounding yourself in nature? Have you ever had an experience like that?
No, I haven't. The closest experience I've had is running a 3-day ukulele camp, but that was just before a bluegrass festival in South Australia. So where, it was a full day of ukulele workshops, 4 workshops, plenty of gaps in between. But then at the end of the day, once the workshops had finished, we'd go and sit around and jam and share meals, chat, and just, if anybody had any questions about anything they found challenging throughout the day, I was there to help people. But it was really, but you got to really know people, and you had so much sharing. So I can only imagine how much better it would be to not only for me to be just me, but to be with you, Marnie, as well. Not only that, but not just in a caravan park just before a bluegrass festival, but to be in this beautiful surroundings, and where it wasn't just about focusing on ukulele, but on well-being as well. Because I strongly believe that if you've got your well-being in place, then that flows over through to your music as well. So if you feel good about yourself, you're going to learn. Your whole ability to learn and take on new skills with your ukulele is going to just be that much better. You're going to be so much more open to new experiences. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad you
um,
bring that up. I mean, the reason why I started these retreats and specifically seek out places that are connected to nature, places where we can really connect. And if you want to get barefoot and put your feet on the ground and
yes.
find that grounding, we lose that as adults. Like as kids we have all this playfulness, and we're in the dirt and we're getting dirty, and who cares if we have on shoes, and we're rolling around in the rain and all those kinds of things. And as adults, all of a sudden that becomes like, well, I need to not behave that way. I'm an adult now. And I mean, hey, zero judgment if someone shows up and they want to go roll around in the dirt. Like, come and be part of what this beautiful nature has to offer us. And I love the way that you said that, of being inspired through nature and how then that
Yes,
will show up in your
yes,
music. Because that's why I've chosen these locations, is for us to really connect back to nature and how that
yes,
can then come through in our music. Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Oh, look, I was brought up in backcountry New Zealand. So, and of course, there's the Maori people. A lot of people outside of New Zealand pronounce them Maori.
Uh,
Um, but, you know, there'd be many times we'd go down to an event on a marae, which is a Maori village. And there was the hangis, which is where you've got the food is cooked in the ground.
wow.
And as kids, we'd be running around barefoot, and most of the adults would be in barefoot as well. So, you know, so it was all just so grounding. So even as an adult now, I enjoy. We call it wearing bare feet.
That's perfect. That's
It
perfect.
is, it is, and it is. It's so grounding. You actually connect with the vibrations of Mother Earth, and that just ties so well into just being open to experiences.
Right.
And in this case, it's connecting with people, um, either through singing or just chatting, shared experiences,
Yep.
talking about our past, even talking about what we want to do in the future, and of course the ukulele. And I see this retreat as being such an opportunity to share um, not only fun stuff with you, but technical stuff,
Mhm.
um, opportunity to you know, really whatever somebody, whoever is coming along to this retreat, I don't mind whether they're a beginner, intermediate player, advanced. You know, I know I have, and I certainly know Marnie has. Um, you know, it's we've got so much we can share with you in such a beautiful setting.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so that
So
brings up a question. Are you, this is the eternal ukulele question, right? Are you high G, Sally, or are you low G? No
I
shade.
am both. I
Oh,
am both.
both.
The reason being,
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
there's this beautiful style of music. I've got my ukulele there, but I'm not going to touch it. Um, Called Campanella playing. You need a high G for that. Absolutely, you need a
Oh,
high
good to
G for
know.
that.
Good to know.
Yes. And yet, when I play bluegrass or jazz or gypsy jazz, I need my low G.
Oh, interesting.
So, so you know, I know that a lot of people's, I don't know what it's like in the States, but I know in Australia, a lot of people have UAS, which is ukulele acquisition syndrome. And they might have
Happens
all these
here as well.
ukuleles like on the wall. And to me, I only need two. I need my high G and I need my low G. That's it. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, when I know you're a multi-instrumentalist, right? You can list them off for us, but I'm kind of wondering, when were you introduced to the ukulele? I know it, for me, it was later in life. I've primarily been a vocalist and I dabble a little in piano, but never felt really proficient enough to accompany myself, and have always been with big bands, fronting big bands and
Yeah.
various combos, right? And then just really wanted something that I could accompany myself. And that's what led me to the ukulele. So I don't know, tell me a little bit about that journey for you, and when the ukulele found
Okay. Well, before I say how long I've been playing ukulele for, I'm going to just say that um, I play piano, so I understand about chord progressions. I understand all the music theory, so how chords are built up within the scale, and I know how to write three-part harmony, and so all of that is from the piano. Now, my finger facility in a fretted instrument or non-fretted as the violin is. So I do, I play fiddle professionally as well.
right?
So the technique for moving your fingers up the neck and all around the neck is the same as the ukulele, except the ukulele okay, it's still got 4 strings. It's a different tuning to the violin, and it's fretted, but the techniques are the same of how to move your fingers efficiently.
Yeah.
So I've got that sort of platform of skill. So my daughter, my youngest daughter is now in grade 12. But when she was in grade 4, she came home one day and said, Mum, we're learning ukulele at school. Can you buy me a uke? So I bought her a uke. And so she was practicing it and she said, oh, it's lonely. Can you join in with me? So I joined in with a bit of basic guitar because I played some basic guitar. And then she said, you're too loud. I can't play along with you. You just drown me out. I
Yeah.
was only strumming very softly, but anyway. So she said, can you get a uke? So I bought a bright orange. I don't know if you have them in the US, but the bright orange Mahalos, like a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
like that
Yeah, yeah. It's like
turquoise uke
element
you've
there.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bought one of those. Now I've got small hands. I've got really small hands.
Okay.
And I was doing stuff on the uke and I was like, oh, this is really neat. I can do stuff I just can't do on the guitar because I don't have the finger strength and length to, and so I started getting into it.
Yeah.
And then it just grew from there. And then I thought, okay, I want to get a really good ukulele. I'm not going to go halfway. I'm on a bright orange Mahalo. Anything's better than that. So I did 4 months of research and wound up with the carbon fiber
Oh
close
yes,
ukuleles.
close. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think they're made in Utah, I think.
I think so.
Anyway, I did a lot of research and I had to pay 25% of the cost of the uke because they were doing crowdfunding. It was their first run of ukuleles.
Oh wow.
And I thought, they look like good people. I'm just going to take a risk.
Yeah.
Then they kept saying, oh, it's like it's delayed. It was then delayed and it was delayed. And I was like, oh, have I been
What have I
scammed? And then,
done? Right. Yeah.
yeah, what have I done? And then suddenly my ukulele turned up in the post.
Brilliant.
And it was the best thing. So anyway, I'd been playing probably about, oh no, probably 2, 3 years when I got that ukulele. And now I've been playing almost 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
too have
and Pete,
well,
yeah,
we are on a delay because you are halfway around the world. It's a whole other day right now than what it is
yeah,
for me. You've already had this day. The day that I'm sitting in, you have already had, and you've already had
yes,
sleep. So, I sorry to interrupt, but I too have found I have never played a stringed instrument before. I played trumpet, flute, piccolo, percussion, and piano. So the that whole thing was new to me, but it's been so cool from my perspective of like all the experiences that I've had musically, how they all come to the ukulele and work on the
yeah,
ukulele, right? And to take
100%.
music that I love, whether it's I don't know, like Peggy Lee songs from the 1940s or David Bowie songs from the 1980s, and how you
Yep,
can put them on this instrument and they sound equally beautiful. And I really
yep,
find that it is not only the happiest instrument, right? But just very versatile and so
yep,
approachable I found it so approachable for myself as like a new string learner that just really helped me take these concepts from other instruments and it didn't feel like such a foreign language, even though my hands
yep.
were in this different position, right? So
Yes,
I'm
I
glad to
mean,
hear you found the same. Yeah.
it is. If you think about it, the notes are the same. You've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the flats and sharps in between. So it doesn't matter what instrument that's on, it's still the same.
Yep.
And and also I know that, when I've spoken to people about what the ukulele can do, there's some people that say, oh, but I've got arthritis,
Mhm.
or or anything other than chords doesn't make sense to me. And I just say, you know what, that's fine.
Yeah,
Because if you play as a group, I mean, I'm big on ensemble playing where I've had people who, you know, like might have arthritis, but they might struggle with chords, but they can play single notes.
exactly.
And then they go, well, I can't play fast. And I'm saying, you know, you don't need, if you've
Right.
got a melody, a harmony, a simpler harmony, and then somebody playing chords,
Yeah.
you're sounding, you've got your melody, harmony, and chords.
Right.
But you, as an individual, you might just be playing some simple
Right.
notes, but that part is
It's
supporting and being
integral.
supported by integral to all the other
Right.
parts.
I think, and that's something
So,
I'm looking
mm,
forward to at the retreat is, and we've done this at previous retreats as well. I know you've done a lot of arrangements, multi-part arrangements for ukulele. We'll call them like a ukestra or an ukulele orchestra, right?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
such a special experience to see
yeah,
how these three, four, five parts can really just come together and create a beautiful piece of music on an instrument that, especially with that type of arranging, is unexpected, right? We're used to violins and cellos and bass and,
yes,
our typical orchestra instruments, but boy, it's really, really cool to hear an ukulele ensemble come together and do an instrumental piece in that way. So
yes.
I can't wait. And that kind of brings up also, like where you and I are starting to talk about uh, programming and things that we want to incorporate for the week. So we're definitely going to do some of that, right? Where we have
Oh,
some
yes,
multi-part
yep,
playing, which is going to be super
yep,
fun. You mentioned Campanella. Um,
yes,
when I created these retreats, because conversely, a lot of the uke world that we see, a lot of the groups that get together are sing and strum, right? And so
yes.
um, many times we don't have a lot of experience or knowledge about singing. And so, with you and I both being singers, I'm super excited for us to plan some really great, juicy material for people to dive in vocally and harmonies. That'll be fun,
Yes,
right?
yes,
What's
yep.
what's coming up for you? Like, what are some of the um, things that have come through your mind, knowing that we get these like 6 days to sit and really deep dive into some work? What are some things that you think we
Oh,
might be sharing? Not to spill the beans early,
okay.
but
I've
maybe
got this really
a couple of
fun
things.
mashup that works.
Okay.
So it gets people used to playing like, like C, A minor, F, and G. Okay. Most people know those
We all know
chords.
that.
And there are so many songs or riffs that use that chord progression. So we could go from I don't know whether you've heard of the heart and soul. People do that on the piano. Bum ba 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 ba. Okay. Bum 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 da da
Yep,
da 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 da. So that progression, C, A minor, F, and G.
yep,
Then you could go straight from that into when the night has come. So for Stand By Me. Then
great.
you could go back in dum bum bum
Yep,
da 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 da. So there's a
love it.
whole mashup. I've got a mashup of I think it's 4 or 5 songs, and then 3 or 4 little ditties like Heart and Soul.
Great.
And then you can just sit around in a big group where you're all, you just call out a number 2. So we go back to that ditty. Number 3. So we go to that
Oh,
song.
that's going to be so
And we're
much
just
fun.
building up this energy. So that sort of thing. Songs like there's a bluegrass song I love. It's called Mama Don't Allow. Now, Mama Don't Allow lots of things. She doesn't allow ukulele playing, mandolin playing. She doesn't allow people to sing.
Yeah.
But it's a song that you can very easily um, make up your words to. And so you can draw people in, even if somebody might not be confident um, at play, they might have just started learning chords,
Mhm.
but they can join in the singing and they can have ideas. I can say to you, Marnie, what else can't Mama do? You can say, Well, Mama doesn't allow us to go out walking. Mama don't allow no walking round here.
Yeah.
Like, so you can make up all sorts of words. So it frees up our minds for creating our own words, because so many people have a real fear of forgetting words, of
Yes.
not playing music, um, without the book in front of them. So
Yep.
this takes us away from that, because it's a really basic song where you can easily make up your own
Now
words
you're
too.
giving
So
away our
I
secrets,
am.
right? Of as teachers that we don't tell people what we're doing, but we're having them or asking them to do something. And secretly in our minds, we have like all these reasons why we are asking for
Oh
this
yeah,
type of engagement, right? Yeah, I love that kinds of
yeah,
stuff. I'm also excited to see like what kinds of things you can bring that are new to us, right? A lot of the participants come from across the United States and Canada and Central America. And so, we all have lots of traditions here when it comes to music.
yeah.
But, I would love like to have some stuff like I know you grew up in New Zealand and you live in Australia now, and so it'd be really cool. We'll have to work on some of that, right? Bringing some
I
music
would.
from those
There are
cultures
definite
that we find.
some beautiful cultural. There's a couple of really beautiful cultural Maori songs,
Uh,
Maori
do
songs
it.
that I can bring to the table. There's an iconic singer songwriter of Australian bush songs,
Yeah,
Slim Dusty. He's now passed, but he does songs. Again, it's in the Australian bush culture.
yeah,
There's a song called Duncan where essentially you can make up the name and then find a rhyme with that name to fit in with the song.
yeah, that's great.
And easy words to remember because it's very repetitive.
Yeah,
So there's some really, really fun Australian songs. And yeah, I've got this weirdest accent. So my parents were English. I was born in New Zealand. Now I live in Australia. So when I'm in Australia, people say you either sound English or you sound New Zealand. When I go home to New Zealand, they sound you sound Australia. So
yeah.
I don't really fit in anywhere, but I know I'm going to sound different to any of you guys. So
Yeah. Well, last year at this retreat, Cynthia Cunanan came down from Canada. And so it was really great hearing her Canadian accent. And I'm like,
yes,
I think the prerequisite for this particular retreat is you have to have an accent from another country to be a co-facilitator. So I can't wait to
done.
spend a
I
week
fit
with
in.
this accent. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's Sally, it's so great to talk to you, and I cannot wait for this retreat. People can go to youcanuke.com to come and find us, and to if you want to set up a Zoom, please set up a Zoom, and I can answer any questions for any of you. And look forward to having Sally. And hey, I'm telling you, our Aussie friends don't come up here very often. It is a long way, it is expensive. And so Sally's, kind of doing multiple things while she's here. And I'm thrilled, thrilled, thrilled that you're going to be able to join us for this week. So everybody come and join so you can have the chance to study with Sally, because I don't know when you're going to be back here again.
Yeah, well, but I'm looking forward to being in your beautiful country, and I'm looking forward to being around your accent as well. My aim is to go home with an American accent. That's my aim.
I'm sure I sound super twangy. I can put on my country accent for you. So, Sally, thank
Put
you so
it
much
on,
for your
bring
time.
it on.
All right. I will see you soon, Sally. Okay.
See you. Thank you, Marnie. Thank you, everybody, and looking forward to meeting everybody at the retreat.
Absolutely.